have died. That's according to the Israeli government. Let's speak now to Adam Manit, whose cousin Sahi Aiden was taken hostage by Hamas gunmen from his home in Nahal Oz. It's very good to have you with us, Adam, and I'm sure this has been such an incredibly emotional roller coaster for you, particularly as there are now reports coming out of Qatar that we're very, very close to some kind of deal. How are you and the family doing?
On a knife edge, very anxious, very nervous. We haven't had any formal confirmation, obviously. The only time we've ever seen any news about Sahi was when Hamas had him in one of their propaganda videos where they were taunting us and Israeli society about the hostages. So we did see him alive in one of their videos. In that video, they did say that he was dead. Which we've never seen a body, and we've had no confirmation of that from any official sources. But obviously, he hasn't been visited by the Red Cross. He hasn't been visited by UK diplomats. He hasn't been visited by anybody who could confirm his welfare. And so we're very anxious to know if he's alive and if he's well and if he can be returned to us, as long as with the other 97 hostages. There are four other hostages who you didn't mention in your report who have been there since, some of them as long as 10 years in Hamas captivity, and we're fighting for their release too.
Adam, in terms of what we're looking at in Qatar with these reports that a ceasefire deal is imminent, in terms of the hostage exchange part of that deal, I'm sure you've had your hopes raised and dashed many times over these months. But at this point, would you say you're optimistic that a deal is about to be agreed?
I've learned to be cautiously optimistic, but not to be overly emotionally invested, because, as you said, we've been here before, had our hopes raised, and dashed on the rocks of despair. So I'm guarded. I'm cautious, but I am optimistic because one has to be in order to stay sane.
How difficult is it for families at the moment when they hear that part of this deal will be a phased return, potentially, of the hostages?
It's excruciating, especially in our case. Sahi is above the age of 50 and would theoretically, if the details of the deal that have been leaked are true, those over 50 would be released. A reminder that there's a baby who was taken hostage, Kfir Bibas, who will be 2 this Saturday, a day when there will be massive Palestine protests around the country, including in the capital, aimed at the BBC as well. So on that day, they won't be marching for Kfir Bibas's release. They won't be marching, they've never asked for, demanded for the hostages to be released. And it would be a very sad state of affairs if a 2-year-old is still held. So I hope that this deal can be secured, and I hope that all 98 hostages can be released immediately. It's incumbent upon all of our governments, including the UK government, to ensure their release. There are 9 hostages who have British relatives in captivity, and those British family members of theirs are desperate to get their loved ones home.
And what is your feeling or assessment about how the Israeli government has been over these past few months when it comes to trying to negotiate this deal?
Look, I'm not a diplomat. I'm not a politician. I'm certainly not a military expert. I'm a cousin of a hostage in Gaza, and I know that I'm not privy to a lot of the inner workings and details that are being hashed out amongst the various parties. Qatar itself is host to the Hamas Politburo. So I do question Qatar's ability to be a neutral mediator in this. However, at this stage, and with the impending Trump presidency and the threats and rhetoric that have been coming out from him, which has really accelerated things, I think, as well as the actions of the Biden government desperate to try to secure a deal as part of his legacy. I think the two working together has put some extra pressure on the parties, and I think that can only be a good thing for all involved.
And Adam, just finally, how much communication and contact is there amongst all of the family members who are all over the world, actually, and how much support is being offered? How much of a sense of a community has been built up amongst you all?
It's been in the most incredible community, and it is the only thing that has kept us going all this time. Every single one of those hostages and their family members are part of my, extended family now. The neighbor of Tsahi, who was taken along with him after Tsahi's 18-year-old firstborn daughter was murdered on October 7th, and the blood of her blood was all over him when they were taken. The neighbor, Omri Miran, his brother-in-law will be in London tomorrow with me. We'll be standing outside Westminster advocating for the hostages. We are like brothers. We are close. And if Tsahi is released and Omri is not released, I will be advocating for Omri's release, and as if he was my own family member. There's just simply no question. All 98 hostages have to be returned for everyone to heal, and for all of us on all sides to be able to use it as an inflection point, as a moment when new pathways can be unlocked.
Adam, thank you so much for that and for joining us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.